Come on, Jabba, don't do it. Don't do it. Go for Kenobi. Go for Kenobi. Please, please, please go for Kenobi. Not that one. Ah, jeez. All right, you know, let's just start this video. I just want to first say, before we get into the meat of this, we're gonna have a really big conversation on Conquest, and I think I've come to an unfortunate reality about the state of Galaxy Heroes and Conquest. I want to just first say, I understand in the grand scheme of human civilization, this is such a minute problem. In today's world, the present time, there are far bigger issues. I 100% understand. But this is the game that we use to kind of escape that reality. And it just sucks that when I'm going to take a look and take a deep dive with you guys throughout the history of Conquest. They really jacked the crap out of this game mode. The bosses are absolutely overtuned, and at first I was like, you know what? I think it's the bug. It has to be a bug. And then I sat there longer and longer. I made a video in case you're struggling, like the Gamorrean guard boss. There's a card in the top right hand corner. I show my trick. I let the pin comment. Other people are sharing their tips and tricks. But I sat there overnight thinking, there's no way they updated the game and they didn't fix it. I have a feeling, guys, the difficulty we're seeing this Conquest is 100% intended, because we're not even seeing a fault like, oh, we screwed up. Now, I just want to put out there still might be a minute chance that we have a bug at hand. I mean, look, this is still the Jabba journey guide still broken. People can't get their ultimate. Super Commando had a big bug, which is actually a funny one. Bausch Leia's accelerated node has not been working for several weeks now. So I just want to say there's a good chance maybe this still is bugged, and then we don't have to overly worry about it. But I want to give you guys a little bit of an analogy. Stick with me. I love tech. I love cars. And I was watching MKBHD the other day talking about the new iPhone 15. And, probably a lot of us like, oh, it looks the same as before. One thing we don't realize that he brought to fruition is that there are incremental changes and refinement over time that you just sometimes don't notice until you take a look at like 5-6 years. Like, wow, my iPhone 10 is completely different than the iPhone 15 from a performance standpoint, all the refinements. And he brought up another great example, Porsches. When you look at Porsche from one generation to the next, like, they look kind of similar. But when you look at it in totality, there's been these incremental refinements over time, where in totality, you can see the change. This is the exact opposite with Conquest. It's the opposite of refinement. I want to start off by showing you guys this here. Remember this? This is during the days when Conquest was love. This is my first max run of hard mode Conquest in one stream. Now, no, first off, you can't even do a full 100% run in one day. It's impossible because there's been these incremental refinements towards making the game mode even worse over time. Notice a few things that they did that we just got, we don't really appreciate it. That's not the right word. What they've done over time to the game mode, because they do minor things. But when we look at the past several years, it's so astounding. And I hate to give this analogy. It's almost like a dog that you love. You come back and you found it's been abandoned. It's starving. It's scared. It makes me sad thinking about it. That's how I feel about Conquest. Like, we all love this. I read the comments. People were so positive about it. But incrementally over time, they've made this game mode worse. I think I know the exact reason why. And I think I know exactly why. If this isn't bugged for Conquest, why we're going to expect difficulty like this for the foreseeable future. First things first. Notice, hard mode Conquest, only 15 energy needed. I believe the Conquest, the paths were also shorter for every sector. Now they're a little bit longer, I believe. Take a look at the sector feats, guys. I'm not kidding. These were the sector feats. Gain advantage 40 times, 200 critical hits, win of 20 battles without losing any units. Sector feats. You know what the sector feats look like now? Oh, do this 5 million times, something so minute. Use repost 60 times. It's only one character that people have it. But how about event feats? Like, oh, that's just the sector feats. What about the event feats or the global feats? Look at this. 50 battles of the full squad of light side. 50 battles of the dark side. 1,500 critical hits. Defeat 500 enemies. This is child's play. They, for some reason, have gone back and done many other things on top of this game mode to make it incrementally less enjoyable over time. And you might be asking yourself, why would someone want to make a game less enjoyable? It makes no sense. You think you'd want to improve upon the game. I think we can agree. I think the one few things that we can agree as a community in Galaxy Heroes, they are not making this game mode better in terms of enjoyment. So why? Well, that sounds oxymoronic. Why would we want to do such a thing to the game? I have a feeling it's because of these Conquest Pass surveys. Now we notice they've been asking for a lot of surveys in regards to Conquest Pass pluses. But why is it nothing's good is coming out of them? You know what I'm saying? I have a feeling this is the exact reason why we're seeing this issue, because they're not making enough money off of Conquest. And I actually think I have some good indication to prove that's the case. Conquest gates what? Some of the biggest characters behind the game mode. And obviously they had an issue of lots of people unlocking Maul, Commander Tado, the Razor Crest right away. People only needing to do a couple of refreshes. I mean, like as if it's a Cantino to get some of the top tier characters. Now, don't get it twisted. I love that I want as many people to get their hands on these characters. They're in the exact opposite business. They want to limit how many people can get it and how much they can extract money-wise. And it's probably not making sense when they pretty much make these characters be given away for free, which is why we're seeing these incremental improvements in terms of difficulty and making the quality of the game mode even worse, because I'm sure if we had a graph, less and less folks are unlocking the Conquest units over time with all these additional changes. And now we're into this new era where it feels like I'm fighting a Jabba the Hutt from Grand Arena. The Sector 1 bosses, it feels like I'm fighting the Challenge Rancor raid, basically, with maybe less health than, so because you can't fully solo Challenge Rancor raid. It seems like they brought a degree of that back. And I'm hearing rumors as well that Sector 3 Darth Vader is an absolute pain in the butt. So I'm sitting here and I want to convince myself we're in a situation where there's a bug going on. I don't think that's actually the case. If they completely broke this entire game mode and all the bosses are overtuned, they just suck at their jobs. I think this is 100% intended, and I think we're entering the next generation of refinement. What's the opposite word? Degradation of Conquest. I think that's probably the right word. And I think it's because of these right here. We might need to alter our play style. Let's be real for a moment. These the boosters, medpack techs, historically are pretty useless. You don't need them. You don't need to waste any crystals, any of your tickets that you'd rather use on gear or character shards. And I'm thinking they're targeting this next year. I mean, they went out their way so much to even show us that, hey guys, we're making some changes. The Conquest booster consumables were boosted notably with new data discs that can amplify their power further. Why do they care about this all of a sudden? They may have tuned the difficulty where what we're used to is not the normal run-of-the-mill anymore. They want to increase the difficulty so you feel like you have to get these new boosters. The medpacks techs, which funny enough, I believe as well, they also degraded the quality of those too, where now they don't last nearly as long as they did before. I believe, it only works for one battle, where before I think it was 2 or 3 battles. Realistically, the only things that really made any difference was like the frenzy tech. Otherwise, you kind of just skipped it. Yeah, if you got it for free, maybe use it, but there was no reason to spend crystals on it. No reason to spend your Conquest tickets on it. And also we see indication of this as well with the Conquest Pass Plus. Now, with the Conquest Pass Plus, I've said religiously, it's not worth it. Why would I want to pay $30 a cycle? Where is it now? I haven't bought it a single time. And they probably don't like that. For a spender like me that buys pretty much every character day one, they're like, why is it I can't get this person to spend that extra $20 per Conquest cycle? Now, the $10 pass, incredible value. As I said, say what you will about spending, but if you do spend money in the game, that's a free-to-play game. It's a mobile game. They got to make money. This is some of the best value you could possibly get. I don't think they're happy enough. Even if someone bought this 3 times, getting a top-tier character, most of the time, Conquest suits what? They're top tier. Very rarely are they kind of a dud, like Admiral Trench, Boba Fett's Sign of Jango, where they're not great, but more, by and large, they're very meta-defining. Why would they want to give away these characters just for $30, even assuming you're buying the pass 3 times? You don't even need to buy the pass 3 times to get these characters day 1 unlock 7 stars. And we're even seeing here, they're trying to convince you to buy, because now they have these new legendary consumable boosters where they're going to increase the stats of the booster consumables by 100%, give you an extra 25 speed for only 1 cost for your data disk inventory, which is very minute. How much easier do you think that battle? I'm not going to buy the pass. I'm just not. There's other things. The Conquest Pass Plus, they've done at those surveys. They added, stamina regeneration, free ticket swapping, a list of other stuff going on. But imagine if you had that consumable booster that basically doubles the power of it. this game mode very much could be tuned to this. Imagine having 310% max health. Well, that would help out for some of these battles where I just feel like I'm getting absolutely decimated in seconds. And we just got to do some weird, cheesy stuff that avoids the feats that we're trying to accomplish for the sector and the global side of things. So the more I sit here and think about it, it's like the light bulb turned on and they're not talking about it. This is, I think, what they want. This is a big gray area for Conquest. I don't think they made any money off these. I don't see why someone would do that, and that's a problem. They want to overly monetize these aspects of the game. So I have a feeling that's where we're gonna go, and I want to kind of take this a little bit further with you guys on the fact that I don't think they're making as much money here. They're putting meta-defining characters back here, and it might not be making sense when we see marquee characters are probably driving more revenue for them. Marquee characters, not all of them are great, some of them are decent, but they're not meta-defined like Malicos or Malgus or Maul, whatever the case might be. Come take a look with me here. Geez. When I'm looking at all these incremental degradations of the game, it really actually makes me sad. And again, I understand there's sadder problems in life, but in the context of Galaxy of Heroes, this really disappoints me. It really upsets me seeing where this game mode has gone over the years. Just like there's such a stark difference when you go on to Reddit before when this game mode first came out and recently, and I don't blame people for not engaging with it. It's one of the more important game modes because it has those meta-defining characters. But take a look at me for a second. So I want to start off with like some characters that came out roughly around the time of Malicos. We're going to compare Malicos acquisition to 7-star. Well, you only can get them at 7 stars. To the 7-star acquisitions of some recent marquee characters that came out, a little bit before Malicos came out. So Drogon, for example, which by the way, solid character. When we look at the 7-star acquisition, only about 1,700 people have it. And there's no way of getting that unless you spend the 300 some dollars. Maybe you got lucky, maybe dumped a lot of crystals, but you need a lot more crystals to get a 7-star Drogon than you do for a new Malicos when you're going through Conquest for the first time. What that you do when you get Admiral Trench or the Malgus, the Fury class Interceptor. So keep that in mind. Let's look at another example here. Let's look at Scout Trooper, another recent character. Only 2,320 some people have Scout Trooper at 7 stars. Now, we know why that's the case. They've heavily gated it, so it takes you about like 6-7 months after it comes out. They actually finally get it 7 stars free to play if you stay on top of things. And let's go as far back as like Sagar, a character that's been around for a while now, and people are trying to get him up and running for Jedi Knight Cal Kestis. Only about 14,000 have it. Now, I'm sure if I looked at, Marin and Captain Rex characters are at least a little bit better, we'll probably see a little bit more 7-star acquisitions since it's been many months since they've come out. But I wanted to just like focus on Drogon, Scout Trooper, and the Malicos. They came out a similar time span. So $16.99 for Drogon, $2,321 for Scout Trooper. Take a guess, how many Malicoses? A much more powerful character that's redefined the Sierra Junda team and many other lineups. The guy's been killing it in Territory Wars, by the way. I'd rather make a video about that, but I think we need to sit down and talk about this right now. Take a quick guess, leave a comment if you want to see if you're right. 12,000 people got Malicos day one. Now, yes, it's not like a ton, but it's much more than 7-star marquees where you have to spend hundreds of dollars to get them at this point. You just can't get them for free to play that cheap unless you have a ton of crystal order. But still, again, you're draining your crystal inventory. Conquest doesn't drain your crystal inventory. Take a look at Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, a character which we all love. He's an idiot on defense, but overall a fantastic character in so many aspects of the game. And it only needed a couple characters at gear 12, which we consider that to be very free to play friendly, especially when those characters become double drop farmable later on. Not even close. Not even close to Malicos. Take a look at this. 2,000 people. 2,000 people have him at 7 stars. First time acquisition. Now, hopefully he does come back soon. But when we look at Saw Gerrera, I mean, maybe at most another, 10,000 people are going to have Cal unlock. So you're telling me by 2 runs of Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, maybe it'll match the day 1 unlock of Malicos. And Malicos, Conquest in general, it's such if you have the mental fortitude, you have a decent sized roster, you get the right data disc, you can get a very high crate and get these guys unlocked very quickly. I just know that's bothering the hell out of Capital Games. Hence why we're seeing so many surveys on how can we monetize this game mode more. And we've seen this throughout the course of time. No more 5-star unlocks, more feats, longer paths, more energy. Now Conquest consumables are probably gonna be a cornerstone aspect of this, putting more valuable stuff in the Conquest Pass Plus that they're offering here. It just blows my mind. Like, you don't realize it with these incremental changes, how far we've come from that core concept of Conquest that people absolutely love. People love this game, and there was very few negativity about it, and the things that we did give feedback on, they monetized it. So yeah, when I sit here and think about it, I want to hope and believe. You know, my mind went towards, there's no way they're, I don't want to say evil, but they're that greedy of a company that they would leave this game mode in shambles like this. They've moved so far from the core heart of what Conquest was all about. And I have a feeling this isn't bugged. I think this is intended, guys. So, man, I don't know. It makes you really sad. I love this game. And when we see that they're actually making a material movement in the direction of making this game mode worse for us, less fun, which sounds like the exact opposite of what we should be doing in the video gaming industry, I feel like this is a crime against the institution of video games. You know, we want to make the game better. We're making the game materially worse. And unfortunately, I expect the CG to do their usual thing where they duck under cover. They don't say anything. They might release a new character later on today. And then, you know, it's just going to be like this, where every little update that goes by, we're like, wow, we've grown so far past that in the wrong direction. So I hate having these negative videos, but I think when we're sitting here and thinking about it, I think it makes sense where we are right now. We got to read between the lines. They don't like people, and I love that. I want as people to get these characters in their hands as easily as possible. I have a feeling they take a big issue, and they want to drastically reduce this less and less, because it probably doesn't make sense for them to do it when marquee characters are having less 7 stars. They extract more money, more crisps out of the player. Man. Well, I hope I'm not being overly pessimistic about this. Well, I guess leave your thoughts down below. Best of luck in Conquest. You know, we just got to push through it if you really want to make it to the finish line. I wish there was a better way of making changes, but man, I don't like getting pessimistic about this. I don't know if there's really anything that we can do. I just speak from personal experience. I didn't like Datacrons, and I guess that's another thing they kind of did of Conquest. They tried to extract more crisps. They threw Datacrons on there, which at least made it more free-to-play farmable to keep up with Datacrons. I was a stark opponent to the way Datacrons were. It's some of the most ultimate loot box mechanic stuff that I've seen in the game. And even though I don't spend money on Datacrons, the problem is many people do. And it's not the people. It's the game at the end of the day that's got to take responsibility for what they're doing to their game. But it's just like, me alone, I can leave the game today. I think they just keep moving on the way things are. This is not like a typical studio that exists out there. I really don't think they care. And I just saw that with Datacrons. When I said I'm not going to do it, you know, if people are still going to do it, they're just going to keep doing what they're doing to Conquest. We're going to see these incremental negative changes over time. Man, I hate making these negative videos, but I think it's just a reality. We got to understand what the game is. So I hope I'm wrong. Hope they're just incompetent and the game mode's bugged beyond belief, but just keep an open mind. That might not be the case, ladies and gentlemen. This seems like it could be the next evolution of making the game mode a little bit worse than it was before. So hopefully the next video is a little bit more exciting, but I think it's just important we take a moment to kind of appreciate, understand what's going on. I think now that we took a macro view of it, we can really see, holy crap. You don't see it in the incremental changes, but we see it in the grand picture. Like when we look at the Porsche or iPhone example. Anyways, I'm going to just shut up because I can just keep talking. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, comment down below. Happy Conquest grinding, and buy some consumables, and make sure you buy the Conquest Pass Plus and stop unlocking all these characters day one in Conquest. All right, well, it's great to be in the Empire. Just gotta get out of here.